Recording officially. Hi everyone, welcome to the Wednesday night team call. It is the 13th of February, and we are actually talking about Andrea Crowder's video. And Andrea Crowder, for anybody who might not know, she is the co-founder. So Sable and I are co-founders of Meta Movement, and Andrea Crowder and Joel Cease are the co-founders of Misfit Republic. Let me give you a little timeline of how this connects to us. Joel Cease, the founder of Misfit Republic, she sponsored Andrea Crowder. Joel Cease is the best friend of Lauren Ricks. Lauren Ricks is my sponsor. So Lauren Ricks is my sponsor, and then there's me, and then there's Meta Movement. So we are only really two teams removed, or one team removed, really, from Misfit Republic, and they're one of the largest teams in the network. We're really blessed that we have a leader like Andrea Crowder and Joel Cease, both, because they are amazing human beings. I've met both of them in person. Joel Cease is one of the nicest people in the world, and literally. And every time I see her, she gives me the warmest hug, and she is just so loving and so present, and I just adore her. And Andrea Crowder is really a badass. Like, she is a badass at everything. She started from a very low point in her life, and if you watch her story, she came from a background of strip clubs and strippers and drugs and, you know, a lot of not really personal circumstances in her life. Andrea was left alone, pregnant, at the age of 18 years old with all her stuff in trash bags on the side of the road. That's where Andrea Crowder found herself. And she blessedly met her husband, Jeremy, who married her pregnant and decided to help her raise her baby. And then they had another baby together and are very happily married now and have a beautiful family. Jeremy Crowder is one of the funniest people I have ever met in my entire life. He is hilarious, and he is like the Team Misfit Republic mascot. He shows up at every event. He's always wearing like a cat shirt or something equally ridiculous. He is her biggest fan, and oh, look at it, baby. I love babies. And he's just the best. They are the best, and we're really blessed that we get to learn from them. I thought this video was really powerful. Sable chose this video, and I had already watched it. Like, I watched it when she did it live. And re-watching it and hearing her talk about Build to Last, which is the book that we're going to read in March. I had forgotten that she talked about this book. And then hearing her talk about Build to Last and knowing that I've now almost done with Build to Last. I've read it like this because it's such a good read. Everything she said about it is right on. It's just so touching to hear her story and how she had no idea what she was doing, and she was just naive enough to think that $50 a month was like a godsend. It was a blessing to her and her family, and she was able to stick to it. And Andrea Crowder today, she's been in the company for 7 years. She's in the Millions Club, and she's done really well for herself. Her downline is huge. But the amount of humility that she brings to this conversation, I thought was really powerful. And the way that she talks about really cultivating your people and really leaning into your team and not thinking about big numbers and, you know, doing all of these really complicated things and making it very simple and making it very step-by-step, I thought was really powerful. I thought revisiting the video, even though I had already seen it, I was reminded of so many truths that I feel like as a leader, I needed to hear. So Sable, I'd like for you to share why you chose this particular video. And then of course I want to have an open discussion about takeaways from the video. I think that's worth having.
Well, I chose Andrea because, like Shakti said, she's a badass. Like, every time I watch her video, I was like, that's like my coaching. Like that, like so many different characteristics that she portrays, like I feel I resonate with. And she comes with this like tough love, which is hard to hear, but so hopeful. But the way she presents it in this video, you know, she starts off so soft and gentle, like you don't even realize that she's about to like serve it to you, right? So she starts off so kind and gentle. And anytime I am asked to sit and think, when she opens the video and she has us write down the answers to her questions, that is always such a very powerful moment for me to sit and reflect. And over the time of my coaching, like my answers have changed a little bit. And then there are a couple of the answers that never change, right? Like my reason why has always been the same reason. So, yes, when she says, I wrote that quote down. So like, you either own it or you don't. And she's like, let's fucking own it. Like, yes.
I love that when she was like, okay, it's a network marketing company. Like, we're in 2018. Either fucking own it or fuck off. Like, really? Like, why are you here? I died.
And that's like the tough love that like is so motivating to me because it's humored, it's honest, it's raw, like that's how it is. And so really if you follow any of her videos, you're going to get that throughout them. But this one, so my topic was actually supposed to be building relationships. That was the topic that we were going to watch the video on. But when I found this video, I was like, no, we need to watch on building your legacy. Like, I feel the discussion that we've been having as coaches in, you know, some of our one-off conversations or our leadership boards or team cup challenges, like, I thought that this conversation was more important than how to build a relationship.
I really feel like this video is just, it's really everything that you need to know, you know, and I really want to give you guys some feedback about Andrea. She is one of the most introverted people I have ever met in person. Like when I met her at Summit, she was like, she looked like resting bitch face. Like she was like, seriously, like I didn't even want to approach her. I did not want to approach this lady because she is like only 5 feet tall. She's like real short. She's not tall.
She talks about that
in
though.
heels, she might be like 5'2". She's like real tiny and she's petite. And she just looked angry. And I was like, oh, I'm not approaching that lady. She's having a bad day. And then I realized she's just painfully shy. Like she really is. And Joelle is a little bit more outgoing than she is, but she's also quite shy. She's also quite kept to herself. And what I've realized in this business is that a lot of leaders are painfully shy. I'll give you another really good example. A girl by the name of Haley Christian, which is actually a personally sponsored coach of Keith Callahan, whose book we're going to be reading tomorrow. I love Haley Christian because she's so out there. She's super quirky. She's super radical. She's a hairstylist. She says weird shit. She gets so nervous talking on camera. And she's a baller coach. Like she's a multi-star diamond coach doing really well for herself. And when they invited her to speak on stage at the Power of I Am, which all you guys who are going, she actually was on the Power of I Am my first year. She was shaking. She was visibly shaking when she got on stage and she's like, you guys, I'm so nervous. I'm like wigging out right now. And she just like took a moment. She was like, I am freaking out. I'm freaking out. I do not like to talk in public. I have this microphone in my hand and now I have to say something important. She was like, that was her, like literally her words. She was so nervous and she just kept saying weird shit the whole time. And that's them, you know, they're real people. They get nervous. They feel weird. And a lot of them are really successful because they're behind a screen. So they can run an entire business and only talk to people in this little computer box. And then they don't have to go anywhere. And that's what makes them so successful because otherwise you're uncomfortable and they don't want to go talk to humans. You know, so I just wanted to give you that feedback about Andrea, that she is painfully shy. And I can attest to that, having met her in person. And if you saw her in that video, you wouldn't think that, but it is true of her. And she's built a very successful business doing this. So just wanted to give that feedback. Anybody have any comments on what they watched or questions? Let's talk about that as well. You didn't get a chance to meet her this last time when you were there, Sable.
No, but I'm like a stalker of hers. I love her so much. Yeah. But she even talks about her resting bitch face. She's like, I promise I'm happy. Like, you can come talk to me. I just look like this. Like, that's her comment.
She just looked very scary. So the video is actually pinned to the top of our team page. It's at the top of our team page as an announcement.
Oh, hey, I'm actually unmuted now. Hi, everybody. This is my first time using Zoom, and I really wasn't even sure because I was watching Andrea's video and everything. Well, what little I got to watch before the call today turned out to be really crazy. But for some reason, I thought I wasn't really sure how we were doing this. So I thought I was just going to be like tuning in for a live feed video or something. And then at the last minute, I was like, wait a minute, nothing's happening. And then I saw something for Zoom. But I really, excuse me, I really liked what she was talking about when she was saying, you know, I don't know, the whole $50 a month thing, that's where I'm at right now, dude. Yeah. And the thing is that I figured I'm investing in me right now. Yeah. You know, so I'm making this investment whether I garnish any sales from this or anything. So I might as well just go balls deep, pardon me for being rather,
no need to pardon.
abrupt with that,
No
but like let's just fucking do this, because I need to do this for me. I do need that accountability. I'm currently like in this period of intense personal growth, and one of the things that I'm needing to address for me is a lot of the things that she was talking about. Like, let's talk about the finances. How is this going to benefit me? How is this going to benefit my family? How is this going to benefit? What do I want from this? And it's like all of these things I'm writing down. I'm just like, check. Yes, my health, my desire to help people, my need to feel like I'm, I am that point of light on the map, because like I recently found this place, and like through my personal meditations and everything, just getting to that point where it's like I feel like my column of light bursting out of me, and this is my spot, and shit's happening like here and now. How do I maximize that? And so that's where I'm at with this. And I really I can't wait to finish her video, because I had to cut it short because it was almost 8 o'clock, and screaming babies you can probably hear in the background. My husband is awesome. He's taking care of them right now. But no, so I really enjoyed what I didn't get, but maybe almost halfway through her video, and I just really felt like it just really spoke to me.
Yep. Brilliant. I'm so excited for you and your journey. You are definitely taking it balls to the wall. And that's what this requires, to be really honest with you. Like, if you're serious about making a dent in this business, it requires that you approach it with that level of enthusiasm. And it's just like what Andrea said. She was in the middle of moving, which is so funny, Emmy, because I thought about you. Like, I thought about your story. Like, she had just bought a house. Her house was in boxes. She had 2 small children. Like, as she was talking, I was like, oh my God, that's like Emily's story. Like, we just had this conversation. I was like, this is crazy. But you know what that shows me? That shows me that you're that kind of person. You're an Andrea Crowder. You're the person who's like, my life is a mess, and I'm still going to do all of these things because I need to do it for me, which is what she said. And that's how she grew her business. So you're in the perfect spot to really take advantage of that and to show your community, which is what we talked about. Well, this is how you get it done, even when you're doing this, even when you have 3 small children at home, even when, that conversation. That's a perfect example, I think, of that. Oh, that's funny. I'm seeing this side conversation right here. I'm going to mute you real quick, Emmy, so we don't have any possible feedback and stuff. Kari. Yeah, she's super awkward, Kari. Andrea's very awkward. So if you ever feel awkward, don't feel bad, dude. And I also don't experience you as awkward, which is interesting that you see yourself that way. I never have seen you that way. In fact, when Kari speaks, she has this level of wisdom and groundedness that's really powerful. Your voice is so powerful, and I really think you have no idea how powerful your voice is. And when
every time Kari speaks, I'm like, wisdom. I must listen to everything she says and do it exactly as she says to do it.
Yeah. It's for real. Your wisdom is real strong. Your old soul's real. It's all, you know what it is, you guys? Every single one of you is on this team for a reason. None of you are accidental add-ons to this team, okay? If you were sponsored by anyone, it was not accidental. That's not how you ended up on this team. Your only challenge to finding your voice and to growing your team here is to own who you are. That's your primary challenge, is to own your story, to own you, and to not be afraid of going out into your community as you are and inviting people that you love, that you admire, that you want to work with into your space. That's really what this job is about. And even Andrea said that. She was like, who are you looking for? Mm-hmm. She said that in the video. This is not about going to get people. She's like, who do you want to hang out with? Who do you love? Who lights you up? I'll tell you, I just was working my checklist before I got on this call. Here's my very fancy notebook, which I showed my Team Cup team the other day. This is how I track conversations on a super sophisticated notebook that cost me $2.
Dude, I stapled mine together. It is on cardstock, but I stapled it together.
You don't need a lot to be able to track conversations. And I went through a hashtag, massage therapy students, because I'm a massage therapist and I love massage therapists. I tend to vibe really well with them. So I went through a hashtag of my people that I relate to, people I have something in common with. I found so many women who are massage therapists or students that I immediately loved. I saw their picture and I was like, there is light in that girl's eyes. And I went through her profile and she's like a young mom. She's super positive. She's like all about like inspiring quotes. I'm like, this is my human. I just found her. I've been on her page for 5 seconds and I know that that is my human. Okay. And it takes time to develop that eye, but you can kind of feel it. Y'all are intuitive. You're all intuitive. That's why we're in this together. So when you're looking through hashtags on Instagram and stuff, go find your people. What do you do? Number one, easiest as a job. You're a flight attendant. You were a tattoo artist. What did you do? Where are your humans? The people that you relate to? What music do you guys listen to? You know, do you have tattoos? Do you dye your hair? Do you look in those community spaces until you find niches of people that resonate with you, whether you're vegan or you have a chronic. So I look a lot in massage therapy. I look a lot for people who have heart conditions, a heart history, because I do. I was born with one. So that's a big part of my story, having overcome something that could have been very defining for me. Or an autoimmune thing, right? That's another one of them. Or alternative young moms that dye their hair and have tattoos and love coffee, love books, love Harry Potter, love Lord of the Rings, that are super nerds, love Star Wars. Those are my humans, right? So I like feverishly seek out for these humans that are like equal nerd status as I am, and like equal eclectic weird things, psychic readings and tarot cards and like that, like all the stuff that I like. Because guess what? If you are all using the same hashtags, chances are you're like the same humans. You like the same things. You're doing the same things. So that's my recommendation, is to start looking for your people to start building relationships, because the conversation pieces happen very naturally. If you like who you're following, you're going to want to comment on their stuff. And when you start commenting on their stuff, they're going to comment back and you guys are going to build a friendship. Just like when you meet someone on the bus stop or in a store and you just start talking about your kids or your hair, or they compliment you, or it's the same kind of dynamic. And then eventually something will come. What do you do? Oh, well, I'm a online fitness coach. I help people with their health and fitness. What do you do? What do you see what I'm saying? Like, it's not so weird to bring the conversation to a point where you guys get to know what the other person does. And then you can make them an invitation in the future if it feels like the right thing for you. Okay. This business is really all about friendships, which is what the topic was today, was building connections. But we ended up with Andrea's video, which I think was a powerful video, and I'm glad that that's what we watched. But I hope that you got the vibe from the way she was talking, that this business is really built on friendship. It's really built on finding your soulmate humans, those people that light you up, that you want to get on a phone call with, that you want to get on a group chat with, that you want to hear from. That's who you build your team with. And that's also who you get as clients, because if you don't enjoy working with them, guess what? You won't. You won't want to work with them. You're not going to want to work with them. You'll be like, I got a challenge pack sale. Cool. Don't want to work with that person. It's not going to work out for you. Yeah, peace. Exactly. I don't want to work with you because you drain all my fucking energy. You know, don't bring those people into the team. Don't bring those people into your community of, it's look for your people. And it starts with understanding who you are. Andrea was reflecting on her story, and she's done so many really good trainings on your story, and I think like this video, she emphasized more your vision. Like, what do you want to get from this business? How is it going to impact you personally, which I think is really important. A lot of you guys are like, I want to earn for my family, or I want to help my family. But when she said, I think it's really important that you understand how it's going to benefit you, because as women, we tend to be like, my family or my whatever, and we don't think about our personal gain. But you have to be looking for some sort of personal gain in this business. I thought that was brilliant. I thought that was so important for all of us to hear. I was like, amen. Thank you, Andrea, for keeping it real right now on this call. So good. So good. Anybody else watch the video or have questions about anything we've just said? Because you're allowed to have questions. about building relationships. It's the topic for today, really. So how to build relationships, how to find humans, how to any of that. I'm happy to answer those questions if you have those questions. But I kind of talked a little bit about hashtags already. Okay, Emmy, I'm gonna unmute you.
Thank you. I have no clue what I'm doing with Zoom here.
That's no problem.
I guess for me, like right now, the only Instagrams, I have 2 Instagram accounts, and I'm thinking I need to build a third one, because one of them is my artist page, the other one is my now defunct shop page, and I just don't really feel like either of that really is. It just doesn't even feel right. So I mean, Is that cool to just go ahead and just have
absolutely.
that third? I'm really not a big social media person, and I'm having to kind of become one over the past several months, the way things have been shifting in my life. And so I didn't want to seem like, I guess the weirdest thing for me is I've never really just put myself out there like this.
Right.
And I'm okay with it. It's good for me to be outside of my comfort zones, because you can't grow if you're always in the same little pot, you know? So I'm all about that, but I just wanted to see, like, is that cool? I mean, like, I have no clue what I'm doing, but I'm so down.
That's the attitude, girl. That's the attitude. Yeah, of course. Build your so many coaches do that. So many coaches join this company and they're like, I'm just gonna start fresh. You know, and Sable's a great resource for you. She was not a social media person. She did not like social media. And in this past year, she's really become a great person at social media. Like, she's sharing her story, her photos are beautiful. She's really like taught herself how to become a social media person. So cool. Yeah, it happens to, and Susie's another one. Susie was like, I don't do this. I don't share myself. I don't post stuff. And like this year, she's like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to talk about my story. I'm going to, so they can tell you firsthand how just putting themselves a little bit out there, the amount of engagement they get when they start to share like their life is crazy. People want to know about your life. It's just,
I'm such a recluse. This is so bizarre to me. Like, I did that Facebook Live video yesterday, and people, like, all of a sudden, people are like responding to me, and I'm like, what is this? Because you have to like, it's like painful for me to sit and watch somebody on a video. Like, I'm old fashioned. I want to like talk on the phone or talk in person, preferably, you know? So, I mean, I'm not against it. This is all just very new territory for me.
Yeah. And you got so much feedback. Isn't that amazing? How much people want to see your face and they want to hear from you? That's beautiful. That's great. It's good news.
Yeah. When I started coaching, I started a new business page for Facebook and a new Instagram. And it was really empowering to me because I didn't care what I posted. Like, I mean, I did care and I was terrified and I hated social media. But something about starting a new page or a new account was like refreshing to me. Like, it didn't matter about any of the style or things I had posted or I didn't post on my other pages. This was like starting point one. What do I want my mark to be on this account? And I went from there. And it was easy for me to disengage with the fear of what people would think because they're new accounts. So I'm like, well, if you don't like it, don't follow me. Unfollow. Or, you know, but because I had started that new account, I think the transition for me was slightly simpler because I felt that all my followers on my past page, they followed me for what I was posting at that moment. And I was almost having like this rebirth into this new, you know, like calling. So I wanted them to follow me there if they were into that also and not drag them along. So it was helpful for me to start over.
Okay, cool.
Yep. So that's perfectly good and fine. The cool thing about starting a new Instagram, you can start a business Instagram, which is cool then because you can check stats, like making it a business account. It's free to make it a business account. You can see who's looking at your stuff and how much traction certain posts are getting so that you know, like, what are people wanting to see more of and what are they engaging more with. So that's a really cool facet. And then if you have a professional Facebook page, which I'm doing a business training right now with a woman called Sonia Stringer, who's really fascinating because she used to work for Tony Robbins and she was like his primary like salesperson. So she's like extremely gifted at sales in general. And she's been in the network marketing conversation for a long time, for like almost 20 years. She's been talking about this. Like, she is an expert at this. And part of her training, she was saying that if you don't have a business page, not even to start one, because your personal page gets so much more traction than your business page will. If you do have one and it's growing, that's fine. And if you know how to use them interchangeably, that's okay. But if you just have a personal profile, to just focus on optimizing your personal profile, which if you go to our units tab in our team page, there's a unit there that says new coach. That's where I want you to start. I want you to learn how to optimize your stuff so that when people go to your Instagram or they go to your Facebook profile, they know stuff about you right away. They can get a vibe for you. They see a clear picture of your face. And so they know what they're getting involved with. I always stay away from mentioning Beachbody or putting like a Beachbody link or anything in there, because that's not, the product is the side effect. They're wanting to build a relationship with you. So I want that to be the focus of when they come to your profile to get to know you, is you. Yeah, Sonia's the bomb. Tanya's a big Tony Robbins fan. So yes, Tanya, she is amazing. Yes, so Kari posted a video from Chalene Johnson. Chalene Johnson is actually one of our super trainers. Interesting story about Chalene. Thank you for bringing her up. I want to share with you guys. So Chalene has a very interesting story, and she has her own podcast called The Chalene Show, where she tells the story. The first time she ever went to a group fitness class, she fell in love with group fitness. She thought it was the coolest thing in the world, and she wanted to be a group fitness instructor. Her heart was set on being a group fitness instructor. And when she went to go teach her first class, she was awful. She was terrible. And she says it in the podcast. She said, I was the worst. I bombed every cue. I had no idea what was happening. I could not keep up with the music. My voice was annoying. Like, nobody wanted to come to my class. She was like, I was the literal worst fitness instructor on the planet. But I loved it so much. She's like, so I just kept showing up, and every week I would try to tailor my class a little bit more, and I would watch some people that I really admired, and I would borrow some of their habits, and then I would just show up and try it again, and sometimes it would bomb again, and then I would just do it again. And she said, eventually I taught myself how to be a really amazing group fitness instructor, because I cared about it so much that even though I wasn't naturally good at it, I was willing to put in the work to become amazing at it. And she became a massively successful fitness, like, superstar by herself in a relatively short amount of time. Before she was hired by Beachbody, she merged her business with Beachbody. TurboFire, TurboJam, all of those were hers alone. She started all those programs. Beachbody bought her programs and brought her into the company and hired her as a super trainer. And she's also a business mogul. So she also teaches people how to grow very successful businesses with marketing strategy and all of that. She is a literal genius. She has a heart of gold. She's hilarious. And she's one of the most humble human beings ever. She really is the perfect example of someone who loves something and isn't organically good at it and just doesn't quit, because she believes in it so much. And follow-up funny story to that, her sister, Janelle Summers, so Susie, you will have seen Janelle in Chalene Extreme. She's in the back. That is her sister, Janelle Summers, way back in the day. Well, Janelle Summers, when the coaching opportunity opened up, Chalene, because super trainers cannot be coaches, said to her sister, Janelle, you need to become a Beachbody coach. And Janelle said, you are insane. I'm painfully shy and I want to die when I talk to anyone. I am not going to become a coach and talk to anybody. And she said, listen to me when I say, Janelle, that this is going to blow up your life. And at that point, Janelle was working like 80 hours a week at her job. She was super stressed out. She barely had time to raise her kids. Janelle said yes. And years later, she is a 3 15-star diamond coach. She has achieved the highest multiple rank possible in the business. She is the top earning coach in the entire company. And she is still to this day painfully shy. We saw Janelle Summers this past year at the Power of I Am, and she was so shy. You could tell. People were saying hi to her, and you were like freaking out because they were like starstruck that she was there. And she's in her little dress with like her manicure and her perfect bag, and she looks amazing for her age. And she was like so shy. Like, she was literally like just so shy. You could see it in her face. She has achieved more than any coach in the business, and she's still like that. you know? And so what does that tell me? That maintaining your humility and being wildly successful is totally possible. That even if you're painfully shy and you don't know what you're doing, you can learn. That even if you're really horrible at something when you first start, like all of us when we first start marketing ourselves, Lord, I don't even want to look at some of my original marketing content, okay? Embarrassed.
Some of mine keep coming up in my memories. I'm like, why?
So bad.
Why did I do that?
So bad. So even though that's true, you can get better at everything, and it gets easier, and you start to have fun, and you start to find your voice. And if you just practice it enough, you get there, which is why I'm so focused on action this year for our team, like really focused on the practice. Because what did Andrea say in her video? If you're a little bit scared of something, but you take action right away, you can squash it. When you're afraid of something and you take a long time to take action, the fear gets paralyzing. And suddenly you can't do anything because the fear has gotten huge. As soon as she said that, I was like, that is the problem with coaches that don't take action right away. That is the problem with coaches that don't go emerald in the first week of their business, that don't see momentum quickly, is that they let the fear become humongous. And then all of a sudden it is bigger than they are. And they feel like they can't do the thing. Like emerald status, which is sponsoring 2 coaches, is such a simple thing to do. But when you've passed this, like you've built all this fear around it, it becomes so big and so scary when it's such a simple rank. It's like, it's not complex. 2 friends that want a discount, boom, you're emerald. You know what I'm saying? So as soon as she said that, it was like, message. Yeah, that's exactly what she said. That's exactly what she said. And all that is lack of action. How you cure that is taking more action. That's how you cure analysis paralysis, is with action. And Emily made an amazing video today in her team page about analysis paralysis and how she was not taking action, and that was her problem. And now that she's taking action, she's finding this balance between doing too much and doing too little. And how do you find that balance, though? Is by trying. That's how you find the balance. What do you mean by being out of integrity? That's a really interesting thing to say. And probably a lot of you feel that way. I went emerald with discount coaches because the people close to me wanted to use the products. So I went emerald with discount coaches too. My husband, I signed him up, which by the way, my husband has the most coaches on my whole team, which means me. So I signed up my husband and I grew his team after I had grown mine to like at least 10 people on either side. I sponsored him right away because I wanted a discount coach and he wanted to use the products, but I didn't grow his business until I had a really solid business. And then I grew his, and he is very close to diamond right now. So that's another thing that you can do with your business. So he went as one of my discount coaches, and then a very good friend of mine who is still one of my discount coaches went as a discount coach as well. I'm not what I'm supposed to be, not being a good example, at least I don't feel it. Okay, let's have this conversation. What is a Beachbody coach supposed to be? Because we've already had that conversation, Tanya. We have this idea of what somebody wants to look up to. And as women, I'm going to call us all out right now. We're going to go to church really fast, okay? We have this idea of what we want to be inspired by, which is complete and total bullshit. We think people, and we do this with our men too, okay? For all of you who are into men, because I'm not going to make an assumption on the entire team, but with our lady partners or our male partners, okay? We're like, oh, I'm going to dress like this. Tell me this hasn't happened to you. I'm going to go to the store and I'm going to buy this really beautiful lingerie because my husband will care. And then you put it on and that mother doesn't care. He's like, take it off. Why did you waste your money on $50 lingerie? I want to see.
This is a real conversation that we had with her husband.
Yeah. My husband gives no fucks about lingerie. He's like, that's cute. Whoop. He doesn't even waste 5 minutes observing anything that I'm wearing. Okay. But in our heads, we're like, we have to wear this really beautiful thing so that we can be attractive, and then our man will want to mate with us because we are insane and we tell ourselves crazy things, right? Like, I have to be perfectly shaved and everything has to be waxed and I have to look a certain way and I have to lose 100 pounds and I have to, like, we decide that all of this matters to our men, and our men are like, we don't care. We do not care at all. Are we going to do it or are we not going to do it? What's up? Right? Like, that's the truth. That's the truth. The same is true of our perspective as coaches. We're like, a coach has to look like this. She has to be blonde and her hair has to be this long and she has to have this many abs and she has to wear heels that are this tall and she has to buy clothes that look like this and she has to wear the very expensive leggings, you know, the ones that when you squat, it goes with you and it doesn't leave a gap or like show your underwear. Like, right? Is this not what we do? Is this not what we do? In our heads, we do the same thing. We do it with our partners, and we can't have curly hair. Oh, Lord, Tanya, can't have curly hair. I'm about to find you like 50,000 Beachbody coaches with curly hair in like the next 5 minutes. So hold on tight. But tell me this is not the truth. We do it in that arena, and we do it in this arena, and we are never good enough. It doesn't matter what the arena is. We consistently tell ourselves we're not good enough. We're not happy enough. We're not pretty enough. We're not fit enough. And what message does that send to our community? If we came here to teach people self-love and positive self-image, we are doing a shitty job of it. If the only time that we want to show up is when we imagine that we look perfect. That's some shit. That is the opposite of what we are trying to do as coaches. So I really want you to let that sink in. Are you really doing your job if the only time you want to show up on social media is when everything looks fucking really pretty? Is that the example you want to set to the world? That you're only going to coach people when you look a certain way that's acceptable to you, which guess what will never happen because you're going to set impossible standards for yourself forever. Even Andrea Crowder, she's a freaking millionaire. And she said it. She's like, I have this limiting belief that I can be good, but I'll never be great. She said it in the video herself. Andrea Crowder. You will never be enough as long as you're looking for that as like the carrot on the end of the stick. Doesn't exist. So if you're going to wait to help people until you somehow catch up with this distorted perception of yourself, you'll never help them. Like, we all need to hear that right now. There are so many times I wanted to hide parts of my story. So many times. And all the times that I wanted to hide those parts when I shared them, everybody connected with me over them. They were the most powerful things I shared. My grief, my loss, my nervousness about something. It's the thing people connected with me over. Or everything I wanted to share that hide about me. My sexual identity, my miscarriage, whatever, regaining weight, losing weight, all of that. And the people were like, oh my God, me too. Oh my God, let me hold space for you. Oh my God, let me tell you about my story. So let's get over that. Can we? Can we get over that? That people need our help. People are literally dying of preventable things out there. They are dying. They have a death sentence placed upon them because they don't know how to eat vegetables. Okay? If you have curly hair or not top priority at the moment. Like, these people need you. They need to have a simple solution to this crisis of not knowing how to move their body, not knowing how to eat food. They need help. Okay, Kari, don't look too far. Kari, can you share your story? I'd like to unmute you so you can share. Please share your story. How we connected and how you started.
Okay, so I followed Shakti for a long time. I'd actually run across her from a friend of mine who invited me to a live. And she didn't talk about anything other than just, you know, the same shit she talks about every day. You know, just being her, being real, you know, telling the lessons that she learned. And for some reason, when I was on that live, like, I just really felt connected to her. And so I went ahead and added her as a friend, and I watched her for a long time. And I was doing another company. And it was not going well for me at all. And like, I liked the products, but I didn't like the team environment. I didn't like our upline. Not that I didn't like them as people. It was just that they did not teach. They didn't teach us anything. And every time, you know, we would ask in like the group chats or the group things, and they didn't do Zooms. They didn't do, you know, meetings. Like, it was like once every 3 months or something maybe. And so I just didn't see any consistency. And a lot of times it was really hard to get a hold of them. Like, if you had a question, you know, things like that. Like, I get people have lives, but you're kind of also my coach. So at some point you need to answer me. And, you know, you're going like 3 days without an answer, and then you have to remind them that you even messaged them. And it was just a lot of junk. And I wasn't learning how to do anything. 1 second, baby. Yes. And then, so, okay, a little bit about me. I have PTSD and anxiety panic disorder, and those things don't really affect me anymore. So, but they were highly active at the time that I chose to contact Shakti about it. And she had never actually, we'd had conversations, but she'd never presented it to me. She never invited me, you know, nothing like that. And, but I knew she did it, obviously, from her post. And when she started sharing about like her community and what she was creating, I thought, that's what I need. I also have a lot of health stuff, and a lot of this stuff came up in the last couple of years before I actually joined. And so I have a lot of stomach issues. I have a spinal disorder that is pretty bad. It's pretty bad as far as like pain goes and stuff. It could be a lot worse. I could not be able to walk, you know. So that's what I started kind of thinking like how, because what they wanted to do was surgery. And I've been through a lot of surgeries in the last couple of years because I have been sick, like non-freaking stop for I'd say probably the last 4 years, just sick, one thing after another. And I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't get a handle on it. I had a baby who had been in the NICU, and then it was all super stressful. I ended up not being able to work, and went through a lot of depression because I was her only caregiver. She has a sensory disorder, so it makes things really difficult, and she won't allow anyone else to care for her. So we've managed to get it up to like 3 hours is like our max at this point, where she'll go with someone else, but she won't like let me leave her somewhere. So like if she leaves from our house to go on errands or things like that with them, it's okay, but she won't let me leave her anywhere. So let's kind of make it difficult, like not even her dad. Awesome. So I just didn't have any energy, just didn't have anything. And I thought, you know what? I've got to do something. I started to have really bad mobility in my right leg, which is the one that's most affected, is my right side of my body. And I started dragging my leg, and I couldn't really do the things. I couldn't pick up my daughter. I couldn't bend over to pick things up off the floor. And it was not the way I wanted to live. And so watching Shakti and her story and what she's managed to overcome, I thought, if she can do it, I can do this. If she can do it with a heart problem that she was born with, like I can do this with shit that's just developed from me not taking care of myself. And so I contacted her and I asked her about it, and I took a look at all the information she gave me, and in my mind, there's no comparison to the like the Shakeology, the supplements, the community, everything that Beachbody is about. There's no comparison. And I know because I was in some other shit. So, and honestly, like I, even my doctors did not think that this was they didn't even recommend exercise. I even asked them, should I do something? Right before I joined, right before I told Shakti I'm doing this, I asked my spinal doctor, because I had an appointment, what she thought. And she told me that with the degenerative disorder that I have in my spine, that it would not be a good idea if I did lifting or if I did harder workouts other than walking on like a treadmill. hey, y'all, that's not going to work for me. And walking, no, at that time, it made it worse because I didn't have any core strength. I didn't have any muscles. I had so much muscle atrophy from not being able to move. I mean, it was ridiculous. And so they legit told me that they could put me in physical therapy, and I had injections in my spine. I did do that because they recommended it, and the pain was so freaking bad and the mobility was so bad. I thought, I've got to try something. And I tried it. And I had one of the most awful experiences in something so freaking simple. Like, it was literally like, you go in the office and they give you like some numbing stuff, and then they take you in and they inject it into your back, 2 spots, like either side of your hips, right into the spinal canal. And yes, it hurt, but not any worse than anything I've ever been through. And I've had some major pain, major surgeries to recover from. So it wasn't like that, but something inside of me, I wanted to throw up the whole time. I was sick to my stomach. And when they wanted me to repeat it a week later, I couldn't do it. I could not do it. Could not do it. I could not make myself do it, no matter what everyone told me. Well, you did it just fine. Well, it went just fine, you know. But something inside of me told me that was not for me, and rejected it hardcore. So I decided that day that I was going to do it. And now I'm doing things that the doctors, they're like, I don't even know what to say to you. Like, the fact that I lost all that weight, the fact that my levels are starting to normalize, because I also have a vitamin deficiency. I don't absorb things very well. Shakeology has changed that.
Yeah. Talk about
so that's my story.
Talk about a story. So I want to highlight a few things that Kari shared that are really, really important. I knew she was with another company, and I was very respectful of that, because she was working with another company, and I knew that. I didn't want to be the person who went in there and was like, hey, your company sucks. Have you read their ingredients? Because I am kind of an ingredient Nazi. I didn't want to do that. But we became friends, and I loved her right away. And I saw her potential. But what I saw happening in her company is that she was not being mentored to be a leader. She was being accepted as a follower. And I was like, this girl needs to be leading. And she's not in this environment for whatever reason. She's not doing that. Eventually, she asked me about Shakeology, and we started this conversation. And instead of telling her, what you're drinking right now is garbage, you should drink Shakeology, what I said to her is, if you remember, Kari, I said, send me a picture of the ingredients list on your protein packet. That's what I said to Kari.
Yes, ma'am.
Send me a picture of that. She sent me her picture. I took a picture of the ingredients list of Shakeology. I made a collage. I will never forget this. I made a collage, and I sent it back to her. And I said, Kari, you tell me what you see. That's all I said to her. I said, Kari, you tell me what you see. And she was like, oh man, this is different. And I was like, mm-hmm. And I was like, would you like me to like tell you what I see right away? Notice how the entire time I was empowering her to notice things. I was empowering her to like ask for, I was giving her the power to make a decision. I wasn't like, you need to use this and everything else is nonsense. I was like, do you want to see this? Yes? Okay, tell me what you see. And then would you like me to tell you what I see? And she said, yes. And I said, well, you use soy as a base protein in your product. You have corn as a primary ingredient in your product. There's really not any nutritive additive besides whatever protein content you're getting from this. Maybe like 2 plants or something were in there. And I was like, Shakeology doesn't have any of that. It's just straight up plant medicine, 100%. It doesn't have any added sugars that are weird or sugar substitutes, or it has the amount of sugar of half a banana. And it's entirely plant-based. And she was like, that's all I need to know. And that was it. She decided to join. Her entire life has turned around physically. The most impressive thing is not what you can do with your body, Kari. To me, it's your mental health. The fact that you are in such a sounder place mentally is so profound to me. Just seeing your growth, you know, and seeing your development as a person. That's the kind of shit we're dealing with, you guys. Not whether you have curly hair or straight hair, can wear a pair of 6-inch heels, or have abs. No one freaking cares, okay? But they do care that they're dragging their right leg. They have post-traumatic stress syndrome. They have a really sensitive child that can't be cared for, and they are falling apart, okay? They care about that. So the next time you're hesitant to send someone an invitation, or you're like, nobody wants to hear my story, please remember what Kari just shared, everything that she just shared. She didn't know how badly she needed a solution. Her doctors were telling her the opposite of what she needed. Remember this. Doctors, physicians who went to school for a ridiculous amount of time are giving people this information that is so bad for them. And a network marketer changed her life. A network marketer. I just want to like write that in bold letters. I am the profession that a lot of people think is a fucking joke. And I just changed that lady's life. Okay, I want you to have this perspective on how powerful our work is. It is respectable, powerful work. Everything that you offer people is beautiful, powerful medicine. From Shakeology to the performance line to the fitness programs, it is game-changing for people. Game-changing. They are hungry for this and they don't even know it exists. And they don't even know how it works. Like, I just feel like I can't. A physician didn't change your life. A metaphysician did. What up? That's like physician to the 10th power. I just upped that. You don't need a doctor from this planet. You need it from another planet. That's what the problem was. I'm kidding, but that's such an amazing story.
It really is true though. I mean, and let me tell you something. Because I refuse pain medication, because I refuse the anti-inflammatories and the muscle relaxers and everything else they're putting me on when I refuse the painkillers, because medication does not, I don't do well with medication. It makes me super sick, like any of it. And so I'm very careful about it. And over the years, I've been put on a lot. And so I don't take any of that anymore. I have an inhaler that I use. And the only reason I got that again is because I got sick during the winter and they thought it was a good idea. I literally do not take anything else. So I want you to hear that. I don't take anything else. I do have a high level of chronic pain. It is constant, it is daily. But when I move, when I do my workouts, when I drink the Shakeology, it lessens it. And the mobility comes back. And then I have days where I don't feel it. I mean, it's there, but I don't feel it because it's not extreme. And to me, that's like revolutionary, where I still have the doctors still trying to tell me I need surgery on my back. But once I have surgery on my back for this condition, here's what happens, y'all. Your spinal cord and your bones and everything start to weaken. They can only do so much. And once they invade your spinal column, it's downhill. Yeah. You will have repeated surgeries for the rest of your life, which is why I absolutely had to find a way to not have that first surgery. And here I am.
Mic drop. Boom, walk away. Just like moonwalk your way away from this conversation. I mean, the same thing was me with my congenital heart condition. Like, I knew that if I had to have another surgery as an adult, it was only a matter of time before I had to have another one. Valve replacement surgery is very tricky. Sometimes your body does really well with it. Sometimes it doesn't do well with it, particularly the right side of the heart, which is where my issue is. I knew I had to find a way to train my heart to be so strong that it could sustain high levels of stress and still thrive. And this when they put me on a heart monitor, when they do an echo, when they do like any exam, they're like, you have an athlete's heart. I hear it every time I go to the doctor. They're like, you have an athletic heart. How is it possible that someone with your condition is monitoring in at athlete level heart? They don't understand. My cardiologist looked at me this last visit and he's like, I don't know how you're doing this, but whatever you are doing works. So just keep doing that. He literally had no words for me. He's like, I've never seen a patient with your heart. My heart condition is rare AF, first of all. I've never seen someone with your heart condition in your age group have the endurance that you have. It is remarkable. And I was like, yeah. Gave natural childbirth, exercise like a boss, lift weights, never had any issues. They don't understand. They don't understand. We understand because everyone here understands that the body is more than physical, that the body is here. Whatever happens here and what we put into the body is what the body is going to do. It is what the body will do. And if we tell ourselves that we can and we will, we will. And if we nourish it and if we care for it and if we move it and if we value it, it will give us back so much more than we ever imagined. That is our job. Just gonna hammer that home again. That is our job. The job is not the challenge pack. The job is having no more panic attacks, no more anxiety, and no more PTSD. The job is being able to sleep at night and not be on insulin, like one of my discount coaches who is off insulin medication because of Shakeology. Let me just throw that out there, okay? The job is giving people's quality of life back so they can be in their world. That is the job. Making it easy, making food easy, making exercise easy, giving people options that are easy so they don't have to be inconvenienced and can still have their health. Okay? That's your job. Your job is not being perfect, showing up perfect on social media, or being fancy, or that's not your job. All that stuff is a bonus and perk if you want it to be. This is your job. Okay, Tanya's diabetes medication cut in half. Hello. Hello. How much power is that, you guys? How much power is unplugging people from big pharma with something so simple? This is power. This is real power. This is not like small fry game. I mean, you fit right into this team. You're like where you need to be. You're at home, girl. You made it. Celebrate. You made it. You made it. So we are definitely up at our hour. I could talk to you guys all day. Again, a quality you want to look at in your coaches. Next time you're on the recruiting game, be like, who do I want to talk to for forever? Who do I just want to sit down to and talk to for 15 hours? Then you want to recruit that person. You can even tell them, and I have done this, okay? I've literally messaged someone and been like, girl, follow all your stuff. I love you. I could listen to you all day long. Have you ever thought about doing what I do? I feel like you would be an amazing business partner. I have literally sent that invitation to more than one person. And if they say no, at the very least, they're so flattered and they're like, let's be best friends. Like, it doesn't even matter if they join the team or not, because I just made a new amazing friend. So don't be afraid of being human and telling someone that if you really feel that way about them. Like, I just love your energy. I love everything that you post. You're so vibrant. Have you ever thought about doing what I do? Such a great, simple invite. So good. So thank you for closing up this with your story, Kari. Such a good story. And please, can I give you some homework for this week? Is to go live and share your story if you haven't done that in a while. I'm doing that myself. I'm going live and I'm talking about from being a heart warrior to being diagnosed with reactive hypoglycemia, having hypothyroidism, all the things. I have polycystic ovarian syndrome. People don't know that about me. I deal with a lot of facial hair as a result of the PCOS thing and like cysts that have exploded. And there's a lot of things that people don't know about my story that I haven't even shared or maybe have in a long time. I'm going to do that this week. And I challenge all of you guys to do that as well. Please tag me or Sable or both of us so we can go watch your story and support you in sharing your story, whether you go live or share a story, like a written story. But I challenge you to go live if you haven't, because why not? Why not? What have you got to lose? Right? Do it. Show yourself that people want to show up for you. Yeah, Susie. Take a gulp. That's right. You can't even say nothing because Emmy has only been live twice her whole life on her page. And the second time was when she became a Beachbody coach and she was sharing her story recently. She's like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm on live video. I was like, that's the way to start a video right there, girl. She was so real. She was like, listen, I have no idea what's happening on right now. I've only been twice live my entire life. I don't even know what's going on. Hi, guys. My name is Emily. Here's my story. It was the best. It was the best. It was so real.
I was so excited to go live one day that I just started talking, and then all of a sudden I was like, what am I saying? I think this is where I'm going to end the call because I don't know what's happening anymore. I'm just too excited and I'm out of control, and talk to you later. That was literally my live video because I probably got out like a couple sentences that made sense, but then the rest. And I was like, whew, post-workout brain. It sounded good when I was over there working out. Now I'm here, bloody out of breath, and I'll talk to you guys later. Like, that was my video.
Yeah.
And it got a lot of views because it was pretty random, but.
And my famous question, but did you die? Did you die? Because I see you on this call, so I must mean you still alive. You didn't die when you did that video, right? You still alive.
I did not die.
I'm just checking.
We will not die from social media.
You won't. You might
That would be like a really crazy horror movie.
Yeah, it's fine. Say weird things. It's good for you. You know, it's good for you to feel embarrassed from time to time. It's good for you to have some humility. It's good for you to feel like, wow, this is hard for me. That is good for you. That is where you grow. If you feel like you're good at everything you already do and you're not uncomfortable, like you're not doing it right. I really feel like you need to like really get perspective on that. Like, it is good that you feel nervous. Prove to yourself that you can do it and you won't die. Tanya over here being smart. It's still early. We don't know. You're so smart ass. Yeah, do it and tag us so that we can go support you and love on your video and your story. You guys have all amazing stories and they deserve to be heard so that people who are out there struggling with lupus, Susie, who don't know that you can reverse it with food, can hear your story. Yeah, in case y'all didn't know, Susie was diagnosed with lupus, but none of y'all know that. The homegirl never tells the story. And then she went vegan and she healed it. So I'm just throwing this out there. Susie with the story of reversing an autoimmune condition that many people I know are struggling with. I don't know what to share. What do you mean? You basically discovered magic. What do you mean? You don't know what to share.
If you could just create my social media calendar for the next month, that would be lovely. And then I'll just execute it. Got it.
Jesus. I might just have to do that for all y'all for like a month. So I love you guys. I hope this was an inspiring call to you, and I hope that it gave you a lot of things to think about and perspective. Thank you, Emmy, for being live as your very first call. You are so committed, and I'm so proud of you for taking off like a freaking bullet and just saying, here I am, I'm going to do this thing no matter what. You're the bomb. You're home. Welcome to the family. You fit right in. So a homework for the week, everybody that's on, if you're watching the replay, go share your story. Tag Sable and myself. Let us support you, whether it's on Instagram or it's on Facebook. We want to hold space for you. We want to celebrate the fact that you're being bold and you're sharing your story. What have you overcome? If you're like, I don't know how to share my story, just decide on one thing that you have overcome by changing your health habits. What was one thing? I'll probably talk about my heart condition the most. I'll kind of talk a little bit about the other things, but what is one thing that you have overcome by being mindful of your health, or one thing you hope to overcome? Maybe you haven't yet fully, but that's the track that you're on because of where you found yourself. Is it mental health? Is it physical? And just talk about that. Okay. So,
Okay.
And make an invite. It's a good opportunity for a call to action.
Yeah, finish the video with a call to action. Next week, we'll have another video to watch as a team and then talk about it on Wednesday's call. And in March, we are doing a book club for Build to Last. I would recommend ordering it soon because I ordered it last week and Amazon took an extra couple days to get it to me. So I don't know what that was about, Amazon Prime, but I was not happy. So just in case that happens to you, you might want to
It
order.
might be on back order, to be very honest. He just published it in January. It just came out and it is hot right now because not only is it being talked about inside of Beachbody, but it is being talked about in other network marketing companies because he makes it very generic on purpose so that everybody can benefit from it no matter what company they're in.
I actually just ordered it tonight on Amazon. And if I'm not mistaken, I think I have Monday at the latest for delivery.
Okay.
And I'm in BFE, like rural hillbilly Alabama. So
Okay, well, that's good news. There's hope then for the rest of
Yes.
us. It's so good. So worth having early and really spending some time with. I can see myself revisiting this book a lot. It will give you a roadmap for how to build this business successfully. It's really, I wish as a young coach, I had had that book. It would have changed the trajectory of my business. I fully believe that that's true. Hi, baby.
Oh, baby.
So pretty. Hi. Ugh, I love our kids. I feel like I'm the parent of all the children on this team. I feel like we parent together just because you get to see your children grow up, and it's so lovely. It's so lovely. All right, my loves, I will see you. Thank you so much for your time and the extra 10 minutes I took of it. I will see you next week. Can't wait to watch your videos. Bye.